Hi everyone, my name is Rachel and I'm excited to introduce you all to my new talk show called LifeThroughATunnel. This show is for everyone as they will address life challenges we face and how to overcome these tunnel moments we often find ourselves in. It will be on my YouTube page, LifeThroughATunnel. Kindly subscribe if you haven't done so, because trust me, you do not want to miss any episode. Just click on that bell. I want you to remember that hope is the ability to see that there is light, even in the darkness that we find ourselves in. And the only thing and the only person that can overcome that darkness is you. Allow that light to shine bright through your tunnel and you will not regret it. Go subscribe and keep your fingers crossed. Until then, keep winning, keep shining, and keep smiling. Bye.
And I got to the hospital. I saw, that day, about 6 people had given birth. So I got to the hospital and I saw children, babies, bushy hairs, and, big, healthy babies. And I was excited because, well, my wife has also given birth. I got there and there was this baby who was doing, and it means the child didn't have enough oxygen to the brain. That was how he was actually breathing. So I didn't know he was mine. So I felt like, oh, poor baby, where is the mother? And then I was told that's my son. So I got closer. Very small.
So it was a premature baby. How many weeks was your wife when she put to bed?
I could calculate it in months.
It's okay. Yeah, you could tell me the months.
Yeah, I think it was a little after 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So close to 7 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I had to rush to see my wife and calm her down. Because she hadn't seen the baby in that state. Right after giving birth, they gave the baby to her for a moment, and then they took the baby to clean him. And so she didn't see what I was saying. So I had to go to the room, speak with her, say, oh, baby is healthy, he's just breathing funny, but he's healthy.
So the baby was, so your baby was put in an isolate, I should believe.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, so we came. She saw the baby. We were not allowed to touch the baby, so we could only see our baby through a glass. And that's a tunnel right there, your first child, and you can't touch your child. And they also discharged my wife to go home without any counseling.
Wow.
So we went home, and in the night, it was difficult. She couldn't sleep. She was crying all throughout the night. And I had to call the doctor. The doctor is actually my friend. So I called him, told him what was happening. And then he asked us to come back to the hospital for them to talk to my wife. And then really had to wash our hands and sanitize our hands and allowed my wife to hold the baby for some time. And then they told us, oh, he's going to be okay. A lot of babies come here. Look at this baby. He was here for weeks and he's fine. And they'll be going home next week. So your baby is going to be fine. Your baby is even looking better than that one. That was when the doctor told me. So
basically they encouraged her and also used some of their success stories with premature babies to encourage her to know that all is not lost.
So the doctor told me that the baby has had asphyxia. And so I went to Google it to see the severity of the case. And that was what broke me, because I maybe where I was looking, but what I saw, the information was like most of the children who go through that come out with, is it something palsy?
With deficits.
Yes, cerebral palsy or something. They are not
CP.
able to walk. Yeah.
CP.
So I mean, I freaked out. I really freaked out. I had to talk to my pastor. I prayed every night. I mean, I prayed till the baby came home. I would pray from 12 a.m. till 6
Wow.
constantly. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't going to stop praying. I kept praying till he came out. And then again, that's another thing. You see, the prayer here is the movement in the tunnel. Because if you don't do anything about it, then you have accepted it. Then you want to sit right where you are, and you are not going to focus on any glimpse of light. But I saw that there is a 25% children who come out perfect. And I decided that I'm going to be part of that 25.
You
I mean, if
declared
there
it.
is a, yes. So my son is going to be okay.
Your son is not going
I
to come out with
mean,
cerebral palsy. Your son is not going to be autistic.
exactly.
Your son is not going to have developmental delays because most
That's
premature
right.
babies, most of them go through that. But you stood on
Yeah.
your feet, prayed 6 hours a day, and was like, God, make
I
me an
prayed.
exception.
Yeah. Then, I mean, we went to the hospital, and after some 2 weeks, and they gave us a date that the baby would be coming home. I mean, a probable date. So I used the day to pray again to make sure that we come home on that day. And they did. They came home.
Wow.
But of course, the first year before our baby would be one, he got burnt.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah,
how?
he got seriously burnt. We had to be at the Kolebu
Teaching hospital.
plastics, the plastic surgeon burns and plastics for them to do those things on the hand and legs, and
But
it was
how?
a
How?
terrible
How?
time.
How? How did the
He
baby
he
got
he.
bent?
Yeah, he went to pick a kettle that was in use with boiling water.
Oh.
So actually, what happened was the baby crawled from one room to the other. The water was being boiled in another room, and the baby had actually crawled to the other room. So it wasn't negligence or anything. It was just an accident, and that was what happened. And then, yes, the doctors, when we went to the hospital and they tied his hand, looking for a line for they call it tourniquet or something. The doctors forgot, and it took hours before my wife saw that the hand was tied. We almost
Oh,
lost that
so
hand.
so they left the tourniquet on.
Yes.
So tourniquet is what we use to tie the upper arm so that we'll be
Mm-hmm.
able to actually see the vein and the blood flow so that
Yeah.
we'll be able to
Mm-hmm.
insect our needle. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
doctors had the
Forgot.
tourniquet on the baby and forgot all about it. And then
That's right.
what? They put the did he have a POP or what did he have?
No,
Then they
I mean that was before. So they were looking for a line. Eventually, they got the line behind his head.
okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
but they forgot that they had tied the hand.
Okay.
So in the night, baby was crying. You could see that, and he couldn't talk, but he was uncomfortable. So when my wife wanted to maybe try to do something for, then she saw that, oh, since morning you have tied the hand from here, and then the nurses had to rush in and remove it. And we saw the effects of that mistake when he started healing, because the other arm and the legs were healing, but that hand was shrinking. So it was like this one is growing and this one is not. So I had to actually stay at home and 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 train him to use a hand. I had to put socks. I'll put something in his hand, the right hand, and then tie it with the socks. so that he would not be able to use that, because he also wanted to play. So when he's playing and he wants to pick something, then he has no choice than to use the hand, and he will cry and all that. But eventually I realized that he was able to use it. But when he was maybe a year and a half, I realized, okay, now he was able to use the hand. Now he does everything with the hand because he's a southpaw, he's lefty. So he does that. The preterm experience also made him delay before he walked.
Okay.
So he walked way after 1 year. I mean, it was too long, but he eventually walked. He's now very healthy and he's extremely smart. Extremely smart. Yeah. You have to teach him once.
Okay.
And so that was, and for me, I would always say that every tunnel that I go through, the defining part of that tunnel and the experience and how I come out of it is God. It will always be God.
Wow.
Because there are some things you can only attribute to God. You know that a man can't help you. There's nothing you can do. Everybody is helpless. And God always steps in for me. And so that is that story. And I mean, now he's very intelligent, extremely intelligent, I should say, like very intelligent. I mean, if he doesn't want to wear a particular shoe, he'll go and hide one and tell you he can't find one. I mean, for a child like that, thinking like that, I mean, you see how intelligent he is.
Oh, I love him. I can't wait to meet him one day. I just love amazing babies. I am actually obsessed with babies. I love babies. I love them from preemie to the age of like 5. Those are my people. I love tiny humans. I'm obsessed with tiny humans. They are just amazing in their own special way. Like anytime I hear about babies, I glow up. I'm excited. I love every baby. So your baby, it's amazing. This is actually a testimony. What happened to your child? Being born 6.5 months, less than a year, gotten bent. Doctors forgetting a tourniquet, which actually will cut away circulation, blood flow. This baby being in distress. Amazingly, how your wife was able to find it because they've wrapped the hand, but how the Holy Spirit was able to somehow, someway make your wife know that let me check the same bent hand. Because most parents will be like, okay, this is the bent hand, let me stay away from it so that I don't cause more irritation or hurt to my child. But for her to have that instinct, it's a mother's instinct, but to get a mother's instinct, you need a higher power to help you even be like, let me check this, and to realize is there, you guys rush back to the hospital or call the nurses, whatever the circumstances, for them to get it out. He being left-handed, he being bent on the left hand, you trying to use socks as mittens for him to be able to grab, the difficulties, the delay in the developmental delay, and how amazing your child is doing. This is a testimony. I can only imagine what you guys went through, newlyweds with a preterm child who is bent, and you feel like all odds it's against you. Wow. You and your wife are amazing. You and your wife are strong.
Thank you very much.
I want you to remember that hope is the ability to see that there is light, even in the darkness that we find ourselves in. And the only thing and the only person that can overcome that darkness is you. Allow that light to shine bright through your tunnel and you will not regret it. Go subscribe and keep your fingers crossed. Until then, keep winning, keep shining, and keep smiling. Bye.